So we got our first look at the standalone Joker movie that DC and Warner Brothers are making. It comes out in October, and so far it looks basically unlike anything else we've seen so far.
Especially from DC.
Yeah. So it got us to thinking about which characters, specifically villains from the DC roster, we want to see on the big screen and what direction we want them to be taken.
That's right. Let's pitch some standalone films.
The role of a lifetime!
Clayface has always been my favorite Batman villain. He's one of the weirdest. He's a theater actor that has a mental break because he finds out one of his original works is being remade terribly. We've all been there. And the cool thing about a movie like this is, on top of it being one of the most visually striking and crazy animated, you have the potential of Clayface, who's a shapeshifter, being able to be played by dozens of different famous actors and actresses. And that sounds awesome.
See? I figured out how to manage this thing pretty good.
Yeah, give me Birdman, but it's like a David Cronenberg body horror and a little bit of the worst parts of Mrs. Doubtfire.
Hello! Harley Quinn, nice to meet ya.
Harley Quinn, we've already seen her on the big screen. Margot Robbie is a phenomenal Harley Quinn. She's, I think, probably the best part of Suicide Squad. I'm excited to see what they do with her in the future. But really, as a standalone Harley Quinn movie, I basically just want to see I, Tonya with like clown makeup and roller skates and a little bit of monster. I know that was Charlize Theron, but I think there's some good stuff in there.
Close enough, yeah.
Give that woman an Oscar.
I agree.
Something tells me a whole lot of people are about to die.
Tonight's forecast. A freeze is coming.
Mr. Freeze, obviously another one of those fantastic Batman villains. Now, we've seen in the animated series the sort of like serious take on that role about losing his wife.
This is a personal vendetta. It doesn't concern you.
And then we've seen Batman and Robin, which is campy, goofy nonsense.
Let's kick some ice.
Yeah, I think that we have to stay away from the hyper-muscular scientist version of Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze and go with somebody that's a little more, I don't know, nerdy, quiet, full of contempt.
I could see like a Ben Mendelsohn or like a Michael Fassbender.
Yeah, or that guy that played Benjamin Linus from Lost.
Heart of Ice, that Batman episode is basically perfect. That's how you make a phenomenal Batman movie. Just put that on the big screen. Just do it.
Cool party.
Lex Luthor, super criminal, brilliant mastermind. I think it'd be really cool to get a movie that is completely framed around Lex Luthor, and Superman's in there, but he's kind of like the villain. He's effectively the cause of Lex Luthor's downfall. Give me like Wolf of Wall Street, where Superman is like the feds.
I like Lex Luthor because in a lot of cases, he thinks he's doing the right thing. He's sort of architecting the bold new moves for Metropolis and doesn't really realize that it would be horrible for everybody, but he means well.
Lex Luthor is the town of Amity, and Superman is Jaws.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I would say a Superman shark movie.
That sounds great. Lobo, they've been talking about this for ages. I feel like we're almost definitely gonna get a Lobo movie at some point. Effectively, just give me like a Deadpool in space. Give me like a smartass, foul-mouthed biker man with lots of like prosthetics. I don't know, effectively kind of make him like an edgier Hellboy and just put him in space. I feel like there's plenty of ways you could screw up Lobo. New 52 showed us that, but really just make him just an asshole in space.
Yeah,
that's what we need.
We've seen that they can do sort of like fun, campy comedy with Shazam. We've seen that they can do gritty and dark with Joker. I want them to just go foul, and not like
no, don't
damaged on the head foul.
Damaged,
but just straight up like foul, just like gross, wet, angry, filthy, foul mouth foul.
The Riddler, we got to see this on the big screen in Batman Forever, but that was definitely a very campy, sort of hammed up Jim Carrey. That said, Jim Carrey is a really good actor when he's playing it seriously. It'd be kind of interesting to see him take another crack at the role, but maybe play a more measured, sort of like, calm, laid back Riddler.
I actually would like something that's more akin to Die Hard with a Vengeance, where Jeremy Irons' character is basically making Batman solve puzzles around Gotham City, and he's reaching out to him over payphones and comm systems, and he's being like, oh, you have 5 minutes to figure this out, and if you don't, I'm gonna blow up a train station. And also Samuel L. Jackson's there.
Just have cool.
Samuel L. Jackson from Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Don't even explain why.
Batman.
It's just Zeus. He's just back.
I want Jeremy Irons in a question mark costume, making Samuel L. Jackson and I don't know, Bruce Willis do puzzles.
Just watch Die Hard with a Vengeance. I think we need a standalone Catwoman movie where she has a crazy costume, maybe it's some torn up leather pants, and she does all kinds of crazy stuff that Catwoman would totally do, such as have a basketball fight with Benjamin Bratt.
They definitely made that movie.
Crashes a party, goes in and takes the beer and sprays it all over the speakers, and they short circuit because your neighbors are loud.
It was one of the worst movies of all time.
Oh yeah, that's right. I think they should make a Catwoman movie that doesn't screw it up. I thought that Anne Hathaway was pretty good in Dark Knight Rises. I thought Michelle Pfeiffer was phenomenal in Batman Returns.
Meow.
I think it is totally possible to do Catwoman right. I don't know what went wrong when they made the Halle Berry version.
I like the version
aside from
of,
everything.
you know, Selena Kyle as a secretary who gets thrown out of a window and hits the ground and cats lick her and she goes insane. I don't really know how that makes sense. Maybe there's something in the saliva.
It's toxoplasmosis.
That's exactly
It's in the cat's pee and feces. It gets in your brain and makes you go mad.
So that's weird text for an opening crawl, but I think we're finding something here. Well, that brings us up to date. Those are some of the standalone DC villain movies we'd love to see.
Who do you want to see as a standalone villain movie from DC, or really whatever? And what's your stance on Catwoman? They already did Bane perfectly. Bane has been handled perfectly. He was great.
Again.
Tom Hardy was perfect. Don't do it again.
They already did Joker perfectly.
I think they should take another crack at that Catwoman basketball scene.
They're doing another Joker.
I think they should have a basketball scene in Joker. What do you think?
I think every DC movie should have a basketball scene.
And Benjamin Bratt needs to be more basketball scenes with the supervillains.
I got the Bane movie idea. Basketball.
Thank you for watching our video. The fire rises.